Hi guys, this is Pestily and welcome to another Escape from Tarkov video. Today, Battlestate Games has released the patch notes for patch 0.14.6.0 and boy, it's a doozy. We've got a few things to go through. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. So just a few moments ago, the servers went down for Escape from Tarkov and they have released the patch notes for what is a 6-hour downtime. Going to go through the patch notes from the top, so let's begin. We present the Escape from Tarkov 0.14.6.0 patch notes. The Unheard Edition. Now this is the one that they said during my interview where they would have a new edition of the game that would be better than Edge of Darkness. So the Unheard Edition is now available for purchase from the website and featuring the following. Now, before I go any further, there is actually a trailer video also showing off this edition. So if you haven't checked that out, that's on their YouTube channel. But yes, first up, access to a PvE co-op mode with a persistent progression. Progression will not be reset with wipes. What this means is you're going to be able to go into an offline mode with your friends and progress through the game. And your progression will not reset with wipes. So it is pretty much the same as that single player Tarkov where you can go and have fun with the game and not have to worry about playing against other people. Not sure what's going to happen when it comes to like a PvP task. So for example, if you have to like kill like shootable in heaven tasks and stuff like that. So I have to wait and see what comes out of that. But yes, there is going to be a offline progression with friends in this new edition. Next up, the enhanced stash size. I believe that is similar to the Edge of Darkness size. I'm pretty sure it's a 10 by 32 is the starting or 10 by 42 is the starting. So it'd be like a level 3 stash size or level 4. So enhanced stash size, increased starting level of character skills. Now, in the trailer, they show this as level 3. We'll have to confirm once it comes out, but it looks like you'll start with level 3. Now, this doesn't have a massive effect outside of you doing your hideout upgrades, and there's a couple of tasks that require you to have some skills leveled up, so it will make it easier to get those skills done. But level 3 isn't like a crazy amount of levels, but it is enough to just give you that slight edge at the very beginning. The next and probably the biggest, or one of the biggest out of this whole thing, is the increased PMC pockets, or the enhanced pocket size. So that in the trailer shows as having, instead of 4 1 squares, you get 2 1 squares and then 2 double squares, which means you're going to be able to put magazines in your pockets that are actually the 30 round mags and be able to reload, which means you could go like AVT or SVT with a 15 round mag in your pocket and then go farm killer without needing to take in a rig at all. Or you could just like, it'd be any sort of gun that has a bigger 1x2 slot pocket, also 1x2 slot magazine. You'll be able to go into a raid and won't need a rig at all. This one is actually quite huge. You'll save a lot of money on rigs, and also you'll be able to hold more items in general. Now, additional equipment and resources in stash. So that's, I assume, we won't know until it's out, but I assume it'll be something similar to probably Edge of Darkness, where you'll have like extra armors and rigs and stuff when you start. Unique in-game ID. They show off what this looks like in the trailer. Now, the unique radio electronic item, Mark of the Unheard. I have no idea what this is, and we'll have to get more clarification later. Now, the unique in-game melee weapon, it kind of looks like a tiger. It's in the trailer, but kind of like a reskin. I'm not sure if it is a reskin or if it is like its own unique weapon, so we'll have to wait and see the actual exact of it, but in the trailer you can see that there for yourself. Unique in-game armband, just to show off that you've bought this edition, and also increased mail retention time. So when you get something back for a task or for insurance, it should be able to stay in there a lot longer from having this edition. Now, more slots on the flea market. So at the moment you start with 2 and then you unlock it like level 8 flea market rep, and then so on and so on. This will mean you'll be able to actually sell stuff earlier, or not earlier, you'll be able to sell stuff at the same time, but you'll be able to sell more at the same time, which is actually quite an advantage. If you put a lot of stuff through the flea market, it is really nice when you have that extra slot or 2, because when you go to sell stuff, sometimes stuff gets stuck up there and you have to make the choice of either losing flea market rep by taking it down or leaving it up there. So this gives you that option of having extra stuff up there for longer. Now, the increased fence standing, this could be as much as like whatever they really want to give, and will mean it will have faster scav timers on your scav runs, as well as you'll sell stuff defense a little bit more valuably. So, you know, that's a nice little perk on top of that. I will say here that Edge of Darkness does come with a 0.2 standing with all traders. So there is something, you know, maybe it will match that. Additional main menu music, there's no big one there, and access to the ETS, which currently ETS has been available for quite a while for a lot of people, but this is actually saying straight up that you will just get access to the ETS for supporting the team. Now, before I go any further, my initial thoughts on this is it is technically pay to win. I think EOD was pay to win. A lot of arguments going each way on that. Do I agree with this? I don't know. I haven't really put enough time and thought into it. My initial thing is, sounds like a little bit of a money grab, but it's also giving people what they ask for. A lot of people want offline PV co-op progression. So that's interesting to see that they actually went ahead and just added it to an actual edition of the game. So I think there will be people that will just be buying this so they can play Tarkov without having to run into cheaters or other players, and they get to experience the game with that progression without having to reset their account. So I think that's going to be a big selling point of this. And then on top of that, having all that extra stuff, it's a nice perk on top. I think personally, if I could have anything out of all that list, it'd be most likely the expanded PMC pocket sizes. The skills don't really bother me too much because it's only 3 levels by the trailer. So hopefully that doesn't have too much an effect on playing the game. But overall, it is what it is, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, the last thing I will add to all of this is there is no information about if you can get all this stuff on top of an EOD account. And how much it'll affect that will have. For example, like EOD has, you know, 0.2 rep with all the traders, but this one does not. This does also say nothing about having a gamma container. It does say additional equipment and resources in stash, and in the trailer it shows a container, but we don't know what that actually means. So we'll have to wait and see in about 6 hours time. Now, before I go any further, let me know what you think in the comments below. I will be reading them and having a bit of a thought process. I'm also in Melbourne at the moment, so I'll be having a bit of a chuckle, I guess, with some of the lads and lasses in Melbourne, obviously, because I won't be able to play this until I get back on Tuesday. Now, moving along, list of changes. So these ones are quite interesting. So first up, switch the in-game season to late spring. So they're bringing into a later spring, so probably less snow now. Reduce the base inertia strength. So this is a reduction, to my understanding, of inertia, which is what we were asked for in the interview/conversation I had with Nikita. So they're reducing the base inertia, they're reducing the aim punch effect, they're reducing the blur effect when taking damage, and reducing the camera shake effect while shooting, which is all stuff that I asked for during the conversation I had with Nikita, and it's good to see that stuff get added because I think we can all agree that all those things are good changes. Now, as for the body hitbox penetration rework, change the mechanics of the body hitbox penetration. Now the body hitbox is always penetrated if the round's penetrate power stat is higher than the hitbox penetration threshold. Head, forearm, shoulder, calf, thigh hitboxes now have a threshold value of 20. The damage and penetration power of the bullet degrades when it penetrates the body hitbox, meaning the next body hitbox will receive reduced damage. The extent of damage reduction depends primarily on the round's penetration power stat. Secondly, it depends on the caliber of the round and the body part's hitbox penetration threshold. The greater penetration power stat and caliber of the round, the smaller the damage reduction. Also reduce the armpit hitbox size. So from my understanding, the way what this means is if you want to shoot through someone's body part, saying forearm, head, shoulder, calf, and thigh, it's got to have a certain threshold of penetration to be able to get through it. So for example, it would need to have a pen of 20, and therefore then it can have the opportunity to go through and hit another body part. Now obviously that's going to take some testing to fully understand, but let's see with the armor penetration rework. If the armor penetration power stat is 15 or more, then the armor's effective durability will result in guaranteed penetration. The following must be taken into account. Effective durability for intact armor is approximately equal to its armor class multiplied by 10. Effective durability for damaged armor decreases with the loss of durability points. Many cartridges have a small starting variation in armor penetration. Ammo penetration degrades with loss of bullet velocity. Ammo penetration may degrade after colliding with armor, body hitboxes, or obstacles. Okay, so to my understanding, this is how it works. So say, for example, an armor has an armor class of 3. That would mean that its armor penetration value would be 45. So you go 10 times the armor class of 3, which would be 30, and it needs to be 15 over to be a guaranteed penetration. So if you're using, say, I'll use it off the top of my head, but like say an M80 round, which would have about a 45-ish pen, and you shot someone with a class 3 armor on, then you would have a guaranteed chance to penetrate through that armor. But if they're wearing a class 4, it obviously reduces the chance. And then of course, if the armor is already damaged, or there's, you know, further distances, say for example you're shooting from a longer distance, then that would be the reduction of velocity, that would also come into account. So it's kind of saying that you know, it used to be like if you were at a level like 4 armor, you'd want to have like 40 pen to be able to get through it. Now it would be something like 55 pen to get through that armor. So this might actually result in, you know, some armors being a little bit more tanky. All right, so now you're back to Budget Pestily. Hopefully you guys learned something from this. Just a quick shout out and sponsor of this video is me. I've actually released a heap of music. You can add it to your Spotify playlist if you just want to have it as menu music or when you're playing the game. If you're a content creator, there's no risk of DMCA. It's all made by me and Low Wave. I've been working together with them to make a heap of music, Tarkov inspired. First album is called The Fear, Bosses of Tarkov, and there is a song for every boss, and then there is Purgatory Maps of Tarkov, where there's a song for every map. Put a lot of effort and time into making this, so if you could add it to your Spotify playlist and give it a listen, would appreciate it. And if you're a content creator, go crazy, use it as much as you want while you're live streaming. And then also if you're making YouTube content, would appreciate, you know, putting it in the description if you want to use it in one of your YouTube videos. Last but not least, let me know what you think about this patch. I think it's a very interesting one. Obviously the changes to the you know, the aim punch and the base inertia and all that is really good, but this whole edition thing is going to cause a stir in the works when it comes to this game. So I'm actually really interested in seeing how it turns out once it actually goes live. Anyway, make sure you like and comment for the YouTube algorithm. I'm away for the next few days at DreamHack. If you're in Melbourne, come say good day. And lastly guys, I'll see you next time.